What are the advantages to an uncontested divorce in Massachusetts? Let's take a look. First, let's define what an uncontested divorce is. An uncontested divorce in Massachusetts is when all the issues of the divorce are agreed upon between yourself and your spouse. That means everything. So that means how you're going to divide your assets, how are you going to divide your debts, if there's going to be any alimony, if so, how much and for how long, and if children are involved, who will have custody of the children and how much will child support be. So all of those things must be agreed upon in order to get an uncontested divorce. Otherwise, it must go on the contested track. There are three major things that you'll save during an uncontested divorce. They are money, time, and stress. We also have a bonus advantage that I'll tell you about at the very end. First of all, you'll save money. Divorce is expensive. There's no way around that. The average Massachusetts contested divorce costs $12,000. That's a lot of money. Most uncontested divorces cost between $2,500 and $3,500. We charge much less. At Afford Law, we use a sliding scale based on your income, so the less you make, the less you have to pay. The second thing you'll save in an uncontested divorce is time. You want it quick. You want it over and done quickly. You've already made the decision that it's not working out and that you want to go your separate ways. Both you and your spouse have agreed to that. A contested divorce takes 14 months at a minimum. That's the timeline that the courts use to sort of keep the process going, 14 months. But it oftentimes can go much longer than that if it's a very contested case, and if there are lots of assets involved, if there are children involved, it can take much longer than that. It can take years. An uncontested divorce can be as quick as 5 months. So that means from the time that you file the paperwork until the divorce is actually final, the full time is 5 months. And during that time, you don't have to do much of anything. So you have to file your paperwork, you have to go for one hearing before a judge, and then you just wait. The waiting period is essentially just the time to cool off and to change your mind if you decide to do that. The third thing that you're going to be saving in an uncontested divorce is stress. Divorce is stressful, no doubt about it. I've been through it twice myself, so I can tell you from authority that it can and is indeed stressful. However, a contested divorce is much more stressful. With a contested divorce, you have to go through discovery. That means it's an exchange of information between yourself and your spouse. Financial information has to be exchanged. There's depositions that might have to happen. There are court dates. There's perhaps mediation, a guardian ad litem, perhaps if there's a child or children involved. And if you can't come to terms, ultimately it has to go to trial. An uncontested divorce is much less stressful. With an uncontested divorce, you're working with each other, not fighting each other. If you have children together, it's more important than ever to have an uncontested divorce. The stress level will be relieved for yourself and, more importantly, for your children. They'll see that you'll be breaking up, which is stressful enough on its own, but that you're working with your spouse so that perhaps they're not losing both of you. If you have children together, you and your spouse will always have a connection. You'll always have to see one another, at least occasionally, for birthday parties, holidays, important events in your child's life, graduations, things along those lines. So you want to be able to work with your spouse so that those times can be more enjoyable and less stressful for the children. Before we get to the bonus advantage of an uncontested divorce, I just wanted to let you know that if you go to affordlaw.org/checklist, you can pick up a checklist of the most important things you should be considering if you're thinking about getting divorced in Massachusetts. The final big advantage of an uncontested divorce in Massachusetts is control. You control the outcome. That's because you and your spouse are working together to bring about that outcome. So your agreement is the one that goes forward as long as the judge approves it. And as long as the agreement is reasonable, the judge is most likely going to approve your agreement. In a contested divorce, you're leaving it up to the judge to decide important issues about your life. Now, not all couples can get an uncontested divorce because not all couples can work together to come to an agreement. If you can, it is the easiest way to get on to your new life. For more information about divorce in Massachusetts, please feel free to check out our video.